Today's top picks from Reuters Breakingviews. Living euro dangerously in 2012. Will the ailing eurozone hold back global growth? Swiss National Bank Chairman Philipp Hildebrand's pillow talk problem, and how Beijing's new securities lending exchange may bolster short selling in China. With me is Peter Larsen. The global question this year, says Ian Campbell, is whether the world can carry on growing with Europe in the state it's in. And what do you think?
Well, that's the question. I think it's going to be very difficult. I think there are signs. There are reasons to be optimistic, not about the eurozone. I think the eurozone is still in as bad a state as it was really before the Christmas break. But there are better signs in the US. Seems to be some signs of growth picking up there. Some signs maybe that another round of quantitative easing won't be necessary, which should be good. There are some reasonably positive signs coming out of Asia. So you can construct an argument that says, well, actually, the eurozone is a bit of a drag, but the rest of the world will be doing okay. But the eurozone is the big unknown, and partly because the outcomes are the range of potential outcomes is so great. I mean, there is the sort of, if we muddle through in the eurozone, not much growth, but it doesn't fall apart.
Are you feeling a little bit more optimistic now than you were? Because I guess the point of my question is, what's new here? I mean, we've known this for the past 3 or 4 months, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we're trying to take stock at the beginning of the year and just sort of say. But I think the outlook for the world is probably a little bit more optimistic than it was a few months ago. But that does depend on the eurozone muddling through, and of course there is that risk of a really there's still a risk of a disastrous outcome there. But as Ian points out, we've been living with the risk of disastrous outcomes for the past 4 years. Yeah. We had banking collapses, we've had various other things, and each time the policymakers have in the end sort of done enough to keep muddling through, and so maybe they will carry on doing so.
Okay, this pillow talk story, the SMB. I'm interested to hear your take on this. Nothing illegal, fine, but it doesn't look good for Hildebrand. It doesn't look good for the SMB. Does he have to go?
Well, he's giving a press conference this afternoon, so there's quite a lot riding on that. I think he really has to explain himself quite convincingly. The problem is that this currency transaction by his wife, on the face of it, they seem to have made 65,000 Swiss francs out of it. Now, the SMB say he didn't know about the currency transaction when it happened, and therefore it didn't breach their insider trading rules. But the other thing, it's worth bringing in mind, he's one of the highest paid private bankers in the world. He earned something like 800,000 Swiss francs last year. So it's hard to imagine that he would risk it all to to make a bit of money on a currency deal. However, and the other thing to say about Hildebrand is he's been a very courageous and perceptive central banker. He's taken on the big banks with this too big to fail kind of legislation.
Is it enough to save him though? I mean, let's face it, his critics want him out.
And the peg has been successful, but he has got critics. He's got critics in politics, and he's got critics obviously within the banks. And this has exposed him and the SMB in a way that they weren't exposed before. And so I think they need to make this go away very quickly, or else he could have a problem. And
a new exchange for short selling in China.
Yeah.
Kind of ironic in some ways.
The Chinese market was down 24% last year, so it's odd to think let's encourage some short selling. But
Weigu makes the point that it will likely take a long time for all of this to get going anyway. I mean, how big a deal is this?
Well, I think what the Chinese are trying to do is get the benefits of having short selling. So the benefits are really, first of all, you created more of a two-way market, because one of the problems China's had is that a lot of these small cap stocks especially just kept going up. You create more liquidity, and also you encourage sort of hedge funds and things like that, which helps you to build a financial center. But the problem is, of course, they want to control it, quite rightly, really. And so this exchange seems to be the way that you make stock available for borrowing, but the authorities can keep an eye on what's going on. But it will take a long time before that kind of fully gets up and running. But it's a sign that they're kind of willing to sort of look at what's been done in the West and sort of make some innovations and kind of around that, and try and develop a deeper and a more liquid capital market.
Okay, Peter, many thanks. Peter Larsen. For more Agenda Setting Insight, watch our US show every day, 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 GMT. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.